Supercell, Supercell, you got that Supercell. Oh, she's a very kinky girl, the kind you don't bring home to mother. And she will never let your spirits down. Once you get her off the streets, blow, daddy. What's up, guys? This is the Gospel According to Mark with a C. He is I and I am he. Just taking some time to tell you exactly what's on my mind. Thank you for joining me once again, my friends. I hope all is well with you. Now, guys, I mean that. When I say thank you for joining me once again, I assume that it's because you love me. Either that or you hate yourself to keep coming back and subjecting yourself to this. But either way, I am really, really glad you're here, and I appreciate every last one of you. And I will reward you by giving you a tip for today. Your tip is that there is a really good show on Netflix, and it's called Supacell. Supacell, Supacell, double L's. Supacell. And I want to read the premise for you so you can get an idea of what this is. And this says, a group of seemingly ordinary black people from South London, unified by a family history of sickle cell disease, unexpectedly develop superpowers. They discover each other and fend off entrapment by a secret organization seeking to control them. Wow. Okay, well, that's loaded. Listen, first of all, I don't know why they had to stress that they're black people. I don't know if it's that remarkable to the plot that they're black people, other than the fact that black people are, I guess, more predisposed to having sickle cell disease. So maybe there's some awareness that's going on here, because actually that's the refreshing thing about this show, is that it does tackle like a lot of real life issues and concerns for a show that is so heavy in sci-fi as this is. And I'm going to give a nod and credit to the show's writer, director, producer, this guy called Rapman. Never heard of him before. This is a London production. I guess maybe that's why. Rapman, I believe, is a conscious rapper, so I gotta look him up to see what's going on with Rapman. But Rapman is onto something here, because what he did with this show, I feel it has a lot of potential, and I really did enjoy it. It's got a talented young cast, and we're going to run down some of the characters here so you get an idea of what's going on. Now, you have Michael, who I would say is your main protagonist, although it's a very strong ensemble. But we're going to start with Michael. Okay, Michael is a delivery driver. His superpower, as it turns out, is the power to manipulate time. And that's actually what kicks this whole thing off, because he accidentally transports himself into the future, where he sees a very disturbing vision of the future, and he meets future Michael, who gives him a warning, a very terrible warning, that Michael's fiance, Dion, is going to die 3 months after he proposes to her. Michael and Dion are very much in love, and from the very beginning, you feel for this couple. You feel that, you know, they're in love. You like them in love. You can tell they care about each other very, very deeply. They would probably die for each other, which becomes relevant a little bit later. But so he goes forward and he gets this warning from his future self. But not only that, but he sees in the future, he seems to be part of this super team. Like, he sees 4 other people that he doesn't know. You know, he has no idea who they are, how he got to be with them, because of course this is the future. But they appear to be together, and they're fighting this mysterious threat in the future. And he's told by his future self that you got to find these other 4 people and somehow defend yourselves from what's coming. So he is able to go back, and he's very much disturbed by this, and this kind of like sets the whole thing off. So like I said, you've met Michael, and then you go on to meet Sabrina. All right, Sabrina is a young woman, and she's doing her thing, and she's a nurse, I believe it is. And her superpower is telekinesis. And we see a little bit of that in Michael's vision flash forward into the future. All of these people don't know that they have this supercell. But as it turns out, the supercell is kind of like a dormant trait that you get when you have a family history of sickle cell, which is pretty ingenious when you think about it, guys, because they're kind of like basing it in some real shit. You know what I mean? So Sabrina and her sister are very close, and her sister's name is Charlene. And Charlene is kind of like a I don't know. She's kind of like a challenge to Sabrina because she's making a lot of bad decisions. She gets with bad men and she finds herself in abusive relationships and things like that. But they are very, very close, and that's a really cool thing to see too. So you have that motivation, and you're beginning to see where they're going with this and how they're building their characters, because all of their characters have a reason, urgency why they're in the situations that they are. Michael, like I said before, he's very much worried about his fiance and the fact that, she's got this impending death thing hanging over her. And then you have Sabrina, whose sister Charlene, she's got issues, so she feels very protective of her sister. So you go on, and you have also Andre is one of my favorites because he is a father. Andre's secret, or his strength, is his superpower. He's super strong, right? But his hang up is that he can't get himself together. I believe he's an ex-con, and he wants to take care of his son. He loves his son. They have a beautiful relationship. I wondered why he's one of my favorites. You know what I mean? If you know anything about me. But he is motivated by that, but he just can't seem to get himself together. So he's very much tried by that, And this also becomes a source of a bad decision that he's got to make a little bit later on in the show. But, these are 6 episodes, and I'm not going to give any spoilers away, but, that's what his hang up is. Then you got Rodney, who is a young drug dealer, and you see him, and of course, Rodney, every team has got to have one. His superpower is super speed, and he's learning about this, and he's coming to grips with what's going on with him, and he also serves as a bit of a comedic relief. But he too has an issue where he's got a friend who finds himself in trouble. So, he's kind of trying to look out for him as well. So you got that going on. And then you have Taser. His name is Taser, right? Taser is a very interesting one to watch. He is the leader of a young gang, and it turns out that he has the power of invisibility. Hopefully he can manipulate that kind of in the way that Sue Storm does, with the Fantastic Four, Sue Richards. And, because you just don't want to be turning invisible, but, maybe you can manipulate an invisible force field here or there or whatever. But that is his superpower, invisibility. Like I said, he is a young gang leader. He's also a hothead. He is motivated by the fact that he has mommy issues and that he feels like his mommy has abandoned him. But as the show begins, we see that there is a character who was on the run from this secret organization who also has superpowers, who is killed in the very beginning. And it turns out that she has a connection to Taser. Okay, as if you can't figure it out by what I've just said to you. So you got that going on. And these people, they don't know each other. They barely know the powers that they have. But the fun is in watching them go from learning about their powers to this possible future where they're all together, because throughout the whole series, especially in the beginning, you see them kind of passing by each other very casually. They don't know each other, but every now and then they might cross paths here or there, to the point where if they see each other later in a significant way, they can say, oh, I remember you from the coffee shop. Aren't you that delivery person? So you kind of see them being drawn together. Now, Michael is the common thread who recognizes them. So he sees who these people are when he's bumping into them, randomly and everything. And for him, it's kind of like, I gotta figure out a way to get with these people. These people, they're coming into realization of their powers separately. But Michael knows that they form a team later. You know what I mean? So he's kind of like, you have powers. And the person's like, excuse me, who the hell are you, yeah? They talk that way, and there's a warning here, guys. You got to get used to this thick South London accent. It's a beautiful accent, but I swear to God, there are some people in this show where I have no idea what the hell they're saying. Not any of the main characters. After a while you get used to it, but there are some extras in here, some supporting characters, and their accents are so damn thick, bro. It's got to be authentic, and it's got to be a beautiful thing. So I love it. But it's got a different sensibility because it is South London, you know what I mean? So it's like you see all of these different characters and their motivations, and I love the fact that through these characters you are actually exploring all of these different societal ills and problems. You know what I mean? Like you got the abusive relationship that Charlene is in, the abusive relationships. You also have the drug game, through the character of Rodney. You have gang issues. You have poverty. You have family issues. You have father-son issues. You have relationship issues. So it's like all of this kind of combined to give you really superior character development and motivation and loads of drama. Like a lot of stuff happens. There's a lot of surprises here, and it's just a fun watch, guys. It's a fun watch. However, if I'm going to be critical of this, there's one sin that they commit that I believe can seriously hinder this superior show from being all that it can be. They fall into the same trap that I believe Director X fell into. Now, don't get me wrong. This is far superior to Robin Hood. All right? No, none of that. But there's this one thing. It's this one thing that's got me tripping. It's just one thing that's got me flipping. Oh. Shout out to A. Marie. So anyway, and that is that Supacell, the bad guys, they're all white. The real bad guys, the heavy bad guys. I mean, they got people on the payroll that's black that's working for them. But the big boss, the big tough guy, the head honcho, the big cheese, they're all white. You know what I mean? And sometimes you got to read the room, guys. You got to read the room and understand that the climate that we're in today, this is actually significant. I know there are some people out there like, well, who cares? Who cares? Listen, you need to care, because if you want to, like, if you just want to have a cute little show, okay, fine. If you want to just have a cute little, like I enjoyed it, okay, but I want everyone to enjoy it. I want this thing to have all types of appeal. I want it to bring in everything, because you want these things to achieve legendary status, classic status. You want the best for these things, right? But if you don't read the room, then you're not going to understand the climate that we're in right now. The climate that we're in right now means that everything is put under the microscope. Is it woke? Is it woke? You know what I mean? That's what it is. Is it white man bad? So everyone is looking at these things who would be your potential crossover audience. So when you go to great lengths to make your bad guys predominantly, if not all white, like every white character on this show is a bad guy, except one person, right? And that one person gets the living shit beat out of them very early on. So they're kind of like sidelined. They're out of it. But this is a concern, guys. It's a practical concern. Like, we have to do better with that, guys. You think that some of these other shows that come out that use black characters, you think that's just because they like black people? No, it's because they want to increase their market. You got to play the same game that they play. So Supacell is a incredibly well-written, well-acted show. 6 episodes. It ends with a... Would I say it ends with a cliffhanger? But it ends kind of like really needing to go on, and I'm hoping that it gets a second season. I binge watched this in one sitting, which is damn near impossible for somebody like me. Just goes to show you how much I really did enjoy this thing. But this is what you have to do, guys. You want your show to grow. You have to really look at the demographics of it. You have to look at the science of it. And what you have to do, to make this thing a hit. And that's what I want. I want this thing, to me, deserves to be every bit the hit that Stranger Things was, every bit the hit that Cobra Kai is, And what was the other one? Squid Games. Netflix has a few of these breakout hits, and I think this should be one as well. Now, for some people, maybe that won't be a hang-up. I'm talking about the crossover audience. And hopefully it's not. If you're a white person and you start watching this show, don't be put off by what I'm saying here. It's just that I have to be critical. I have to be an observer and observant. And that's what I am. It wouldn't be me if I didn't point these things out. I'm not saying it should be a deal breaker, but I'm saying I know how to read the room. And I know for some people it will be. But if that's not a hang up for you, by all means, go and check out this show. Go and check out Supacell, man. And you can get in the comment section. Let me know how you feel about this. If you've watched it already, let me know. Rate this thing. Let me know how you feel, and be critical. Let me know how you feel it could be better. Like I said, it's a wonderful ensemble. I only got into the main characters, but, I got to give shout outs to the dude who plays Crazy. He's amazing. The girl who plays Charlene, the sister, I did mention her. There's a lot of other characters in here. It's a very strong ensemble. So check it out, guys, if you have the time. Let me know how you feel about this. As always, you can like, you can share, you can subscribe. If you want to donate to the channel, feel free to hit the Super Thanks feature on every one of my videos. And I will catch you on the next one. This is The Gospel According to Mark with a C. Rock on.